Good evening, Greg here. Burning at both ends. Burning on the back end of a great work day. 11:15 p.m. Pacific, June 20th, 2018, and today just rocked and rolled with iCore and customer discovery interview setup. So I mentioned last night I was concerned about the fact that it had been a few days since I was filling the pipeline for the interviews, and this morning I got right on top of it. Started firing off emails. I was going through my list. I'm using a smart sheet to track my progress. You know, who I've talked to, when I talked to them, how I spoke to them, what the follow-up is, so on and so forth. Where I am in the process, whether it's a referral or I'm actually pursuing an interview with this person, so on and so forth. And I don't think I've talked much about Smartsheet. I love this tool, and it's essentially a cloud-based spreadsheet. It looks a lot like Excel. It's got some collaboration tools built into it. For example, you can attach files to each row. There is a little bit of version control for the files. You can comment on each row, so you can have a little chat about each row. And then the way it's geared up is it's not geared up like Excel, where you can kind of do things in a bunch of different places, like randomly if you want. It's more like you kind of do things by column. And it's really easy to have drop downs and check boxes and little status things. And you can do, conditional formatting, where you check a box and the whole row turns red, and you can create a very easy or a very simple looking dashboard kind of feature with it, where, you know, from 10 feet I can see what I need, what I need to do. For example, in my sheet right now, when an interview is scheduled, the whole row turns green, dark green, and the text turns white. And so I can see from 10 feet if I have a whole bunch of interviews scheduled or not, or if I need to work on it, so on and so forth. So anyway, I was this morning I was in the smart sheet, going down my rows, hitting people, and so I like to vary the communication. So if I email them once, I try to call them, or I try to find them on LinkedIn, or sometimes all I have is an email address, so I got to just hit them again, things like that. And all of a sudden I started doing this, and I was starting to get all these responses. It was really cool. And then I was in LinkedIn and I was searching there, and I started seeing a bunch of people that were totally relevant to what we were talking about, because LinkedIn's pretty intelligent. As I add people to my network, it starts looking in different places for more recommendations. It's probably pretty obvious, but I think that's pretty cool. And so, I've been looking in these industries that we're interested in, and so I'm starting to see more people from those industries show up. And then, of course, it tells me who I know that knows them. And so I reached out to a bunch of folks today, really working the LinkedIn avenue, and I really recommend that for trying to get in touch with people, because that warm introduction is so critical, so much better than a cold introduction or a cold call or a cold email. And I'll do it. I'll email the person I know and ask for an intro. If I don't get it, then I can still, even through the little connection where you can write that little itty bitty note. And less is more in that case. It really, I don't know how many characters you get, 200 or 300 characters. It really forces me to have a precise message, which is beautiful, because less is, I'll say less is more. Right? Like you kind of give them a little teaser on why you're reaching out to them. And I'd say I have pretty good success rate with that little teaser, especially if I name drop someone who recommended I speak to them. So anyway, the customer discovery gods, right? I was in their favor this morning as I began to refill the pipeline, and for some reason next Tuesday is the day everybody wants to talk. I think we have like 4 interviews next Tuesday, but starting to fill up next week. I think I'm not even sure how many we have next week. We must have more than, like, close to 10, which is fantastic. So, and that should be our average, should be about 10 a week. And then I'm going to hit a conference in mid-July. And so at the conference, I'm sure in a day or two, I'll be able to do probably 10 interviews as well. So that'll be pretty cool. And I'm going to bring my little, I'm excited, my little lavaliers with me. Maybe I can capture some audio, because it's going to be hard to be sitting there, in a kind of conference, or really it's going to be more like an expo setting, and try to take notes as I'm talking to someone. Maybe I'll just record it, have a little 10-minute conversation, and then just be on my way. So that was super cool. Had some really good success with the customer discovery interviews as far as scheduling and filling the pipeline. Tomorrow I have more work, and it's a lot of fun, I have to say, and it's so much fun. I'm kind of pushing off some of the other important work I have to do. Like, for example, we had our 2-hour webinar today for iCore, and I had to present, and I have to admit, like, I should have spent more time preparing for the presentation. And it was that kind of thing where only at the beginning, when I began presenting, now it was just a 5-minute presentation, so it wasn't such a big, huge deal. But only at the beginning was I thinking, I'm really not ready for this. And not only that, but the way I chose to present, I was realizing in the middle, I was like, wow, this is going to be tough for other people to understand what I'm getting at here. But on the other side, we had office hours with one of the instructors, and I took his advice on how to present. So it wasn't totally my idea, and it was kind of funny because then he was giving me some feedback, and I kind of heard a chuckle when he talked about the format of my presentation, because he realized I really took his advice, and maybe either I took it a little bit in the wrong direction, or I took it exactly the way he said, and it really wasn't good advice, right? I got that sense from his feedback. So. But anyway, and then one of the instructors, actually on the side, commented on my ladder back there. Where's the ladder? There it is. Anyway, you can see it. There it is. It's hard to point. It's like a mirror, but opposite. Anyway, they were joking about my ladder. Anyway, so iCore was going well. Other thing, I had this great call with Peter on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Tuesday. And really looking this donation widget is really looking exciting. He showed me some really cool things with it. I think I mentioned that, and it really looks like I'm going to move forward in a big way with supporting him and his company, and it's really exciting for me because like the way I see it is, with all the stuff I'm learning about iCore and Lean Startup, and all this work I've been doing with, patience and persistence and infinite game. I mean, it's all kind of coming together in this opportunity with Peter, and I'm super excited about it. It's going to take years to build it, but I'm looking for this thing to sink my teeth into, and it's really looking like this is that thing. Spend a few years building it, help Peter build a company, get to some awesome things, grow some income, grow my network, grow myself, all these great things. Learn how to, and I'm really hoping, and I'm really interested to have this conversation with him. I'm not quite ready for it yet, but to kind of take a piece of the social media marketing and kind of own it myself. I'm hoping that he'll give me Instagram. I think that'd be awesome. Instagram or podcast, either one. I think either one would be really cool. I think I would enjoy that very much. So, and what else we got? Yeah, ENTS, right? So I'm going to be flying up to New York City at the end of July for a super awesome event, an ENTS event. It's going to be at the Venmo headquarters, so I'm super psyched for that. And I'm going to be bringing the Burn at Both Ends brand there, so the ENTS folks are really excited with what I'm doing on their platform. And so invited me up for that. So that's going to be super awesome. And then another random thing that I want to talk about tonight is my daughters. I have to say, right. So I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're really impressing me with the maturity and just the things they're doing. So my 4-year-old, she's at this point where she's beginning to speak in sentences, and she's putting together ideas, and you can tell that she's frustrated because she doesn't know enough words to put the ideas together, but it's really cool to see it. And just I'm at that point with her where all of a sudden she'll just bust out like 3 or 4 sentences where you're like, whoa, that was a rather complete thought there. Pretty cool. And then my 7-year-old is just incredible. She is in this Chinese learning aftercare. Well, she wasn't, right? We're officially in summer now, so she's in camp now. But during the school year, right, school ends at 1:45. She was in this Chinese aftercare where she's learning Mandarin, and she's loving it. She's like soaking it up. It's not quite immersion, but it's a good amount of learning, right? So she can count in Mandarin, she can say a lot of things, she can do a lot of nursery rhymes, and she loves saying it. And and today she asked me from now on, when I say thank you and you're welcome, to say it in Mandarin. I think it's like "shei shei" is thank you, and "bakuchi" is you're welcome. I'm horrible with languages, and I got to get better, so I can talk to her in Mandarin. And I really want to push her in a direction, since she seems to be liking it. And I'm real careful as a father, because I don't want to be that kind of father that's like pushing my daughter into all these things that I want her to do. I don't want to do that. What I'm doing is I want to show her different things that she can do, see what she likes, and then when she starts to really get into something, see if she wants to do more of it. But at the same time, offer it to her, but not force her. I mean, I would never want to force her to do it, but she seems to really like this Mandarin, and I think it'd be super cool if in the next like 3 to 5 years she completely learns Mandarin and she's fluent in Mandarin. I think that would just be incredible. So my daughters are like super impressive, and I'm just so psyched, and you know, it's just so exciting, you know, to see it. Talk about an infinite game and patience, right? So that's really fun. And then now she's in, my oldest is in summer camp, and so the first week of camp is also at this Chinese school. So now she's there for a full day. And one of the things I really like about the Chinese school is they really push the technology. Like my daughter made a stop motion video of just a little mouse she made with a little ball chasing the ball. I mean, it's a simple thing, but the fact that she's making her own stop motion video is really cool. They have iPads, they have little robots, they have lots of Legos. It's really, they have a 3D printer. I'm really impressed with that school. Suyun's Chinese School, I think Chinese Learning Center. Suyun's Chinese Learning Center. Very impressive. And you know, and I'll wrap here. I'll wrap with the whole point of burn at both ends, right? Because I can imagine someone saying, hey, Greg, you spend all this time with your entrepreneurial stuff. How do you have time for your family? Well, the whole point of the burn at both ends concept is that I can push this work out to the ends of the days where the family is sleeping. Like right now, everyone's asleep. They've been asleep for probably about an hour. It's 11:28 Pacific, so since 10:30. Well, the kids have been asleep since 9. It's 8:45 or so. But my wife went to sleep probably about an hour ago. And so pushing all this work out into these, you know, these kind of dead regions when the family's asleep. And so that way, you know, I can fulfill, you know, what I need for me, and yet still devote time for the family. And it's really, I have to say, it's really working well. I really enjoy it. You know, before I started doing this, I was like super stressed out about doing this hour, because I know I need to like up my game, and I know I need to do better financially for my family. And we're living in Albany, California. It's expensive here, but we really like it. Of course, we could move. Both of us have good jobs, not the greatest paying jobs, but solid jobs, solid benefits. You know, we both work 4 miles from home. We have very flexible work schedules. These are great things for the family. We can't do some of the other things that we like to do, but you know, these are the sacrifices. You know, I know people that work where I work that have 2-hour commutes, not just 2 hours a day, 2 hours each way, or an hour and a half. I mean, I couldn't imagine spending 3 hours in the car a day. I mean, that's 15 hours a week. That's 2 full work days extra a week. I mean, that's nuts. Let me not judge. I mean, I'm not judging anybody else. I'm just, for me, that would not be good for me. I know that. So I've had the long commute, and it's so stressful. I don't know how anyone does it. It's so stressful. I mean, it's great that these other folks do it and it works for them. Well, you know, I have no idea if it actually works for them, but it would not work for me. And you know, I have this thing about wasting time. I don't have time to waste time is one of my things. And so I couldn't imagine that much time in the car. I mean, even if you were to really make that time effective somehow, be on the phone or listening to audiobooks, or I mean, that might be kind of cool if you're really into books or you're really doing something productive in the car. But I could also imagine just wanting to get in the car after a long day's work and just relax and not do more work right in the car. But anyway, we're kind of diverging here. Back to the whole point of the burn at both ends. The whole point of the burn at both ends is to really push myself to give attention to all these really important things in my life. And I really feel that I'm at a point now where I'm able to do that. And that's really important for me. And it really fulfills me, right? It's not the happiness thing, it's fulfillment, different things. Simon Sinek really separates the two and explains the two, right? As far as he's concerned, happiness is that like shot of adrenaline, or that shot of good feeling when I have a succeed, or not succeed, but achieve a milestone. Excuse me. Right, that's get a bonus, or just do just hit something real nice. Whereas fulfillment is this like longer term thing. And also, just to circle back to the whole Peter opportunity, the other main point of burn at both ends is to be of service. And I'm not quite there yet with the channel, still working on it. Plenty of patience, plenty of infinite game planning on this channel. The big vision is that years from now, people will go back and watch all these and be excited and comment at that point. I'll get there. Not quite there now. But the way I see it, I'm building the foundation now. And it's like, for example, if I was building a foundation for a house, right, there's no reason to bring people by to see the foundation, right? You might bring a few folks by, hey, this is where the house is going to be, and yeah, there's the foundation. But you don't really bring people by to see it until the house is built. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm building the foundation. And but as far as being of service, I really see this opportunity with Peter as being of service, and I've been thinking a lot about, how to position myself in this space, since I'm going to be brand new to offering anything to nonprofits, and my avenue or my position is just going to be this authentic thing that I've been doing on this channel this whole time. It's just, I'm new to the space, I'm learning about it. I want to help nonprofits get more money in donations, and that's what his widget does. It essentially doubles the conversion rate due to simplicity, due to some artificial intelligence, and that's what he showed me the other day. The other day when we met on Tuesday, we actually pulled up some nonprofits I've been talking to, and he showed me. He's like, "Oh, here, look, this is their donate button. This is their donate page. Watch what happens. You get redirected, blah, 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 blah. And this is why people don't go through the process." Like, for example, one of the nonprofits, you had to be a PayPal member to donate. There was no I just have a credit card and I'm just some person and I just want to pay with a credit. There was no option for that. So think about that. I want to donate. I'm not a PayPal person. Maybe I'm freaked out by it. I don't know. But now I have to go off and make a PayPal account and then donate. I mean, so something that should take 3 minutes is now going to take me 20 or maybe even longer. Some people just aren't really good at that kind of thing. And especially if it's a small donation, if it's like a $15, $10, $20 donation, it might not be worth it. And so he really showed me kind of like, apples to apples, like, here, look, this is what they have. This is what they would have with us. Look how simple that is. And then he also brought me to a site that actually had his widget, and it's beautiful. You click on the donate button, you're not redirected off the site. Just this window pops up. It looks really simple and professional, and it's just 2 clicks and you've donated. It's like super simple. And then the other cool thing about the widget that I really like is it's not an app, right? So think about your phone, right? You're on your phone and you want to donate. It's not like you have to download an app and then create an account, and that's another now I got to do this whole thing before I can give someone $10, right? Where versus here, widget, $10, credit card, later. And I'm also starting to think about ways that people can use this kind of almost live because it's so simple. I was thinking like a keynote speaker could write in at the end of the keynote, hey, this is my nonprofit. They put up a website. Here, go to the site. If everyone here can give me $3, that'd be awesome. And then you have the whole audience give you $3, and you end up with a few $1,000 in a couple minutes. Could be really cool. Just stuff like that. It's that micro donation, right? A lot of success in that I know in political campaigns. So just being of service there, and I think it would be super cool if 2 to 3 years from now, I've built the set of nonprofits that, because of my work, these nonprofits are getting considerably more money in donations, and they're able to do more. I mean, because just donations, that's like the blood of the organization. I mean, I had small businesses. I know how tough cash flow is, and for a nonprofit, it's even tougher. And so, if I can make an impact in this part of the country by helping nonprofits get more money, I think that'd be awesome. I think that would be super. I mean, talk about being of service and having some impact. And my position is just going to be this authentic. I'm just getting into this game, and I want to help nonprofits get more money in donations, and this is how we do it, and show it to them. And if they want to take it, then great. If not, then circle back in a couple years or a month or whenever, infinite game style, patient style, persistent style, and and just like the customer discovery interviews, fill the pipeline, and then that because that's exactly what's happening with the customer discovery interviews. Is I have the credibility already, with the company I work for and the technology. I have the credibility, and so I'm using the credibility to bring people through the funnel. And then they're going to pop out the other end, and the other end, it looks like a customer discovery interview. And so it's going to be the same with the widget. I'm going to establish credibility with my authenticity and the fact that I just want to help these people get more donations, and kind of lead them through the funnel with that, that credibility. And the beauty is, about the widget is we have real numbers that prove it works. It's not like, for example, our technology in iCore, all we have is a proof of concept, so it's kind of tough, I have to admit. We really need to get to this MVP, this minimum viable product, to really say, hey, we have something here, right? Third party tested. We have the requirements from the people in the industry. We know this thing works. So we're really far from that. Whereas with this widget, we have real numbers. Peter's company is collecting revenue as we speak, and they're in the very early stages. So we have revenue, we have data, and the interesting thing is that the widget works better with larger organizations that already have a marketing plan to get donations. They already know their conversion rate. They sink a lot of money into marketing and trying to get donations. And so it's that perfect customer. It's that customer that is described in the Lean Startup. It's that customer, and I think the example is it's the bank with the line around the building where they're losing money because their tellers aren't fast enough and their ATM's not quite up to snuff. I think that's the example. And so it's that banker or that banking institution that's already sunk several $1 million in trying to develop software that's failed, and they're still not able to solve the problem, and they know how hard it is to solve. That's the customer. That's the perfect customer right there, because they know they've already been burned by it. They've already tried to solve it. And so that's where this widget really works. It's going to be tough to sell to the smaller nonprofits that don't really have this really focused donation regimen, where they don't have all the analytics. They don't really understand. Now, it's not hard to get that stuff, but sometimes it's just you got 3 people in the office and they're all doing all this other stuff, and no one's really going to be sitting there behind a computer, running analytics on a site. Even though that's pretty basic these days, but still, I just know how thin people, how thinly spread people get. And actually, one of the nonprofits I'm talking to, they've been doing this for 10 years, and they're only now going to start getting into kind of this space of digital donors and tracking donors and conversion rates and those kinds of things, and having a real intentional active marketing plan around donations. And so the cool thing about the widget is it works best with these larger companies, nonprofits that have been trying this for a while and know the game and know how much they're losing, and will, because it's a very soft sell, this thing, and that's why I like it, because I'm not a hard salesman. I'm really good with the soft sale. So, and I'm excited about that because it's a patient soft sale. It's beautiful. And I'm going to position myself as I'm new. I want to learn. Show me what you're up to. Teach me. And here, this is what we have. You mind if I check in a month and see how things are going? Stuff like that. So anyway, this might be the longest post in the history of Burn at Both Ends. How you like that? So I'm excited, as you can probably tell. So I will wrap there. Success Journal, still working great. Knocked off a few little menial, they're not menial tasks, but they're simple and small tasks. And so I reached out to Jeff, and I got him on LinkedIn. Did he get back to me? Let me see. Oh, he did. Okay, cool. So I'm just loving LinkedIn. LinkedIn is interesting, and here I'll leave with this short story, and maybe we'll hit 30 minutes here. So I was at the same conference I'm going to in July. I was at a year ago, and I tried to connect with one of the keynote speakers, right, through LinkedIn, during the conference, hey, just saw you speak, really enjoyed this, would love to hear more about blah blah blah. And he never got back to me. And so I came across him again now, and it's interesting with the technology that we're pushing. He would have some contacts for me, not him specifically, because he's like a CEO, but he would know someone that I'd like to talk to. And what I've learned about CEOs and C-level executives is they get requests all the time to be the person to the keynote, to come and talk to me, but what they and it's easy for them to say no to those things because they get so many of them. But what they love doing is they love plucking up one of their really good people and saying, here, talk to Sue. She really knows her stuff. They love doing stuff like that. In a previous I-Corps, I ended up finding the CTO of 3M. I found his email, and I just through the front door emailed him and said, hey, look, I'm working on this. I'd love to talk to someone that has expertise here. Is there someone that you can connect me to? He got back to me in a few days, and I got connected to the perfect person in 3M. So I'm curious to see if this LinkedIn DM will yield some results. I have a feeling that it will, and I think it only will because he will see in that DM, he will see my message from a year ago. He will see that I tried to connect with him a year ago, and he didn't say anything. And so I've built some capital there, and I wonder if I'll be able to cash it in. And if not this year, then maybe next year I'll have something for him. And it'd be funny if it takes a decade or something like that. That would be pretty awesome. But that's the game that I'm in. That's Gary V. Thanks for teaching me that. That is pure Gary V. right there. That infinite game. Well, infinite game is Simon Sinek. I don't know if Simon Sinek coined that phrase or not, but that's where I learned about infinite game. But patience, just how much Gary V. just doubles down on patience. As a matter of fact, I was listening to one of his talks today, and he's talking about people that are 40, and I happen to be 40, how much time we have, and how a lot of people that are 40 think it's game over. For example, I think his example is a 40-year-old sees a 25-year-old with all the success, and the 40-year-old's like, oh, see, I missed my chance. Whereas the way I see it, and also the way Gary sees it, is no, it's now's the time. I got probably 40 to 50 years left, an entire another life of what I lived already. And plus that, right? Because you figure the first 15, 20 years, you're kind of somewhat useless, right? You're in school and you're kind of bumbling around. You have no freaking clue what's going on. So, but anyway, so yeah, 40, I have this perspective. I think I have an understanding of patience. I certainly know about persistence at this point. Learning about infinite game, and little experiences today, like with this CEO, show me the value of persistence and patience. Right, pulling up that DM and seeing that message a year ago, and be like, yeah, I remember that, and he didn't respond. And, and I don't blame him for a second. I mean, who knows how many DMs he gets for requests like that? I have no idea. Only he knows, and so, but I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens, and I'll definitely report back. We just hit 30 minutes, longest post. Thanks for staying in this whole time, and I really appreciate it. And I will go to bed now because it's 11:46, and let's see, anything else to do? I was going to buy my flights tonight. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think it's too late. I want to get, I really see the value in waking up at 5 in the morning, and to wake up at 5 in the morning, I got to go to bed by midnight. So I will do that tonight. I will get up at 5. I will buy my tickets tomorrow, and also want to get some burn at both ends t-shirts made. So I'll say this: if you stuck in this entire time and you listen to this whole post, you will get a free t-shirt. So comment down below, tell me what size you are, male or female, obviously, and I will send you a t-shirt, and we'll figure out how to get the address thing going. But there you go, 31 minutes. Thanks for staying in. You'll get a free t-shirt. Subscribe, tell me what you're up to. This is all about my journey as an aspiring entrepreneur. I want to hear about your journey. I want to be of service. Ask me questions, give me problems to solve. I'd love to help out. Links in the description, motivational links, check them out. A lot of music down there, check it out. Beat in the background, inspired by fellow Hoodie. It's an Afro beat. Love Afro beat. G-Money's my alter ego. I write these beats. Check them out on SoundCloud. Link down below. Wrapping up right now. Thank you very much. Get some sleep, and then so you can get up tomorrow and crush it and inspire folks and do great things. Good night.